Ah yes, the mighty TeraDrive. Well, we've got it hooked in. We're just doing a confirmation test at this point to make sure that the original fault is still present. And if you remember, the original fault was that we were getting the incorrect voltages when this little sucker, the power supply, was under load. So one of the side effects of that happened to be that the internal speaker, which you can probably almost see there, would make a buzzing noise and it would just fail to post. So at the moment I've got the power metal stick that runs through is currently disconnected, but there's a little switch on the inside here, so that's on, and as soon as I flick my down steppy converter, we should be good to have a look at what happens. So let curiosity take us away. Nothing's happening. What does that mean? Probably not a good thing. I didn't put it back together correctly. Sure of that. Anyway, it sucks that I don't have a screen to hook this into. We can have a closer look. Alas, we cannot. Oh, there it is. So, wrong voltage is going through, so that's a very bad thing. I should turn this off immediately. The fault is still there. Didn't occur immediately. I was in Mega Drive mode though. No, still happens in Mega Drive mode, so... Good. We have the fault still present, so now we can move on to replacing all the So, I guess we can just have a quick look inside the TeraDrive. Oh, we've got this here. I mean, why not? Oh, no way! What a cool card, Shane! Oh, it says McRetro.net, blast process since 1990X, which is, of course, a throwback to blast processing, and the 1990X is actually a throwback to Earthbound on the Super Nintendo, both of the 16-bit generation, as is this computer. And now, here's these interesting little wire traces. Ronnie just can't get enough of these. It's like he wants to marry them one day. But that's fine. I mean, he's gone and put a bloody socket where his CPU is and he's working on bumping the RAM up. Guy's added an extra bloody ISO slot. The guy's insane. He's got far more expertise than me at this sort of thing, which is why I put this one off for so long. Okay. So, and look, worst case, if this does fail, we can replace the power supply. There are alternatives out there, as I've learned, that are also switching power supplies. So you've got 110 or 220, 240. Doesn't really matter. They don't care. And then we'll recap that as soon as I receive the last few pieces from Little Diode on eBay. Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed. So I've got to take the power supply out, I know that, because it is right in the way at the moment. And it's faulty, that doesn't help. Never helps. There we go, I just need this power button a bit more free. So floppy drive is there. Welcome to part 3 of the Sega TeraDrive power supply repair. So, I've jumped onto assemblergames.com, which is where I'd also recommend anyone else needing help jumps to. Or ask me and I might refer you over there. I mean, it's a nice place to go. And I've got some folks on there who are kind enough to lend a helping hand. But basically, it comes down to capacitors and, well, transistors. So we're going to go ahead and replace most of the capacitors on the board. In particular, the low voltage side of things, which is sort of this side. And we're going to hope that it's not a transformer that's broken, because if that's the case, they're usually somewhat custom made, and that would be very bad. Or hopefully whatever's broken isn't damaging everything else as well, which could happen. I mean, it is a power supply, it's where the power comes from. So this is it all out and in pieces. I don't quite understand how I meant to get that out. It's in there though. So we're going to go ahead and replace how many capacitors? 9 capacitors I think there are, at least electrolytics. I don't know about these high voltage ones, I might leave them there.
since if they weren't working, it would probably be in flames. But that's fine. So we got 1, 2, 3. This one, Ronnie on Assembler Games believes might very well be the issue, and it is a Nichicon, which I've never had much luck with, unfortunately. They have always given me trouble, which is why I tend to recommend anyone replacing capacitors go for Rubicon, or even better, or no, not even better, the same, equal, Panasonic. They're great as well. You'll notice that if you have a look here at this one, it's a Rubicon. It's also 200 volt. So obviously, whoever designed this power supply, which appears to be Sanyo, they had a lot of confidence in Rubicon for the high voltage stuff. For the lesser stuff that doesn't matter, they've gone with even their own brands. I noticed there were some Sanyo capacitors. So they don't quite trust themselves 100% with the high voltage capacitors, because they need to work. The low voltage stuff, okay, needs to work most of the time, some of the time. So what else have we got here? Wow, there's actually a fuse marking here for 2.5 amp 250 volt, and it's been sort of crossed out. Using a different lens on my camera at the moment, it's the up close one, so we should be able to actually see things as I move around. So I replaced the capacitors, as well as this one here, this little transistor, the transistor on this side, these are Ds, so they're probably diodes, and there's another transistor here, actually. Oh, that's an IC, okay, IC2, where's IC1? Doesn't matter, anyway. Q1, Q3 over there, and Q2 in there. Where is IC1? There it is. This big blue thing. There you go. I learned something today. It's exciting. So it looks like this could have housed a 240 volt power supply if Sega had gone down that path and finally got the TeraDrive out to the world in, well, 98. Because who doesn't want a 286 computer in 1998? Anyway, stay tuned, we'll have more on this. I'll have to get the bits on order, probably take a couple of weeks. I might reassemble it in the meantime so I don't forget where all the parts go. And we'll wait for those parts to arrive. Stay tuned.
Thanks for watching.